Hello friends, this video on matter and magnetism part 12 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos till part 11 before going ahead with part 12. So what is a velocity selector? A velocity selector is an arrangement which will help us to identify single velocity particles. That means it will identify all the particles which are moving with a particular velocity. So now you must be wondering, how is this velocity selector related to what we studied in the last slide? That is what I'll tell you now. Here we are going to study about crossed electric and magnetic fields. What are crossed fields? When the electric field and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, they are known as crossed fields. Like how we saw in the previous slide, that the electric field, this was the direction of my electric field and this was the direction of the magnetic field. Since they were perpendicular to each other, so we call them as crossed fields. Now, what did we observe in our last slide? We observed that the force acting on the charged particle, which is moving with some velocity v in a direction perpendicular to both the cross fields, the force acting on that is Q into E minus VB I cap, right? This is the net force. Now, the force acting on the charged particle will be equal to 0 if E is equal to VB, right? If you look at this expression, the force acting on the particle will be equal to 0 if electric field is equal to velocity of the particle into magnetic field. That means if V is equal to E divided by B, that means if the velocity of the particle is equal to E by B, then the force acting on the particle will be equal to 0. That means no force will act on the particle in that case. And when there is no force acting on the particle because of the electric field or magnetic field, in that case the particle will not undergo any deflection. The particle will go undeflected, right? You are getting my point, right? Let us suppose a particle enters an electric field, or it enters a combination of electric field and magnetic field. The motion of the particle changes. Why? It changes because the particle experiences some force due to the electric field and the magnetic field. But if the velocity of the particle is equal to E by B, in that case, the force experienced by the particle due to the electric and magnetic field will be equal to 0. When the force experienced is 0, that means the particle will not get deflected at all. The particle will move with the velocity with which it entered. So it will keep moving with the same velocity without getting deflected anywhere, right? So now this property is used as a velocity selector. So what do we do? Let us suppose, for example, here I have an arrangement. If you look at the diagram here you have an arrangement of electric field as well as magnetic field. This plus and minus shows that an electric field exists from positive towards negative, and this cross sign shows that there is a magnetic field which is perpendicular to the electric field but downwards from the plane of the paper, right? So this is the direction of electric field and this is the direction of magnetic field. This direction is basically, it is perpendicular to electric field but it is going down the plane of the paper, right? And here you have a couple of charged particles. So what happens when these charged particles enter this field? What happens? It will experience a force due to the electric field and the magnetic field. Now if it experiences a force, then it will get deflected because its motion will be again a helical path. So it will get deflected. But if it doesn't experience any force, in that case it will go straight undeflected. So when will it not experience any force? When the velocity of the particle with which it is entering is equal to the ratio of the electric field and magnetic field. So what do we do? Let us suppose if I have a couple of particles and I want to find out what are the particles. I want to find out all the particles which are moving with the same velocity. So in that case, we can use this concept. We can make such an arrangement of electric and magnetic field and we can make all the particles move through that fields. So whatever particles goes undeflected, they all are moving with the same velocity, right? So in this case, if you see, the first particle is going and it is getting deflected, right? Because it experiences a force due to this electric and magnetic field. The next particle comes and it goes straight. That means the velocity of this particle is equal to E by B, because of which it is not experiencing any force and it is going undeflected. The third particle comes and it again gets deflected. Similarly, the fourth particle comes and again gets deflected. So, by how much will it get deflected? That means you saw here that some particle moved like this, another particle moved like this, there was another particle which went like this. So now, on what does this depend, that how it will move? This is basically the radius of the helix is increasing. So the radius of the helix will again depend upon the force which it experiences in the electric and magnetic fields. Now depending upon the velocity of each of the particles, the radius of the helix will also change, right? So what did we observe? We observed that crossed electric and magnetic fields can be used as a velocity selector, and this velocity selector is a very useful concept. You will see, I will tell you some applications where they are used and they have been very successful. For example, one of the important applications where it was actually used was the Thomson's famous experiment. You would have heard of Thomson's experiment to determine the charge by mass ratio of electron. So this was a very important experiment which gave us some idea about electron. It gave us a figure for the charge by mass ratio. So in this experiment also, Thomson used this velocity selector concept. What did he do? He wanted a bunch of particles moving with the same velocity, right, to be projected into his apparatus. This was Thomson's apparatus. This entire thing which you see here was Thomson's apparatus. Now for this apparatus, he wanted all those particles which are moving with the same velocity. So he chose all the single velocity particles with the help of this velocity selector. So just before the entry of the particles into his apparatus, he arranged this, he prepared this velocity selector arrangement, that is crossed magnetic and electric field. So the particles which got deflected, they were removed before itself, and the particle which passed through this, that particle went through the experiment apparatus, right? So all other particles got rejected before itself. So that means the particles with some other velocity, they all got rejected itself, and the particles with the velocity v, which is equal to E by B. So now actually what he did, he wanted to calculate the E by M, that is charge by mass ratio of electrons. So how did he calculate that? I already told you about the expression for radius of helix. What was the expression for radius of helix? It was nothing but mv divided by qb, mv divided by qb, right? So now using this kind of expression only, he determined the charge by mass ratio of electrons. So if you look at this expression, you can see that q by m will be equal to v divided by rb, where r is the radius and v is the velocity of the particle and b is the magnetic field. So what he did, here he applied some electric field E and some magnetic field B, and which is of known value. He knows the value of this electric field and magnetic field. So whatever particle came here, whatever particle reached here, the velocity of all these particles will be E by B. Let us suppose the value of this electric field was ES, value of this magnetic field was BS. That means the particles which are entering the apparatus of Thomson, they all have velocity ES by BS. So like this, he knew the value of V. This magnetic field is the magnetic field which we applied inside his apparatus. Inside his apparatus, he applied another magnetic field. So that value he knew. And radius was nothing but this radius. This radius, that means by which this particle again got deflected, because when this particle went inside, again some field was applied because of which it got deflected. So there he got another radius. So this radius he knew, and that is how he calculated the value of charge by mass for electron. So you understood the concept, because had he not used this velocity selector concept, it would have been very difficult for him to calculate the velocity of the particle, because he will not know when an object is moving, that object is having millions of charged particles inside it, and it is not necessary that all the charged particles will move with the same velocity. So how will you calculate the velocity of each particle, right? So that is why this velocity selector concept was introduced, and it really helped. Another important apparatus where velocity selector concept has a useful advantage is the mass spectrometer. What is a mass spectrometer? You would have studied about, or you would have heard about mass spectrometer in chemistry. It is used to calculate the atomic masses. It is an instrument which calculates atomic masses. Now, how does it calculate atomic masses of small particles, small or big particles? But how does it calculate? Even this calculates on a similar basis. This is your mass spectrometer basically, where you apply some magnetic field B, and you let some charged particles come in, and the charged particles get deflected in this magnetic field. So the charged particle gets deflected in different ways. Some get deflected like this, some get deflected like this. So they all get deflected in different ways and with different radius of curvatures, right? So now using the same concept here also, that is R is equal to mv divided by qb, using this it calculates the mass, that is rqb divided by v. So for this also it requires single velocity particles, because here also, so many, whatever object is there in mass spectrometer, what they generally do is, let us suppose if they have to calculate mass of some element, right? So what they do, they first ionize that particular object. So once you ionize that, you get the charged particles. Now after ionization, it is not necessary that all the charged particles will move with same velocity. So they use a velocity selector. So in velocity selector, they apply a known electric field and a known magnetic field perpendicular to each other. So when the charged particles enter this field, only those charged particles will come here, whose velocity will be equal to Es by Bs. So I know this velocity V. Now with this velocity, when the particles enter, they experience another magnetic force because of this magnetic field which is present here, and therefore they will move in helical path again. So now we will know the radius of curvature for each of the movements, and also I know the value of this magnetic field which I have applied. So that is how, depending upon the radius, we can calculate the mass of the particles. So this was another concept where velocity selector was used. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.